Hello and welcome to the Peace Party. My name is Carrie and today is Education Monday. Welcome back to Future Week, as each week is about the future, and no better way to start off the conversation about the future than talking about education. We mentioned last week that a war has been declared on all students, on all educators, on education itself. And we look to students whose rights the President of the United States, as of March 2025, has disregarded. Students are being disregarded by this current administration in Washington, D.C. Students are being thought of as irrelevant, superfluous, and inconsequential. Peace Party completely and totally disagrees with this notion. Students are integral to the future of society, to the future of the United States of America, to the future of planet Earth. And to say anything less, to think anything else, really does a disservice to the past, present, and, of course, the future, which is what the Peace Party is very much focused on, is the future. And we believe that all students matter and wish to work with all students, educators, administrators, to make things work for you and your community, because schools are like the linchpin of a community, and where a great number of friendships and relationships are made and fostered and carried on, some cases when you're lucky, for decades and decades and decades. You can't ask for anything better, and yet we're not treating education, we're not treating students, we're not treating educators with that same kind of enthusiasm, love, and hope. It's really sad to see hope being stripped from students. You don't want to ever take away hope from somebody, and especially when you're under the age of 18. You don't want to take away hope from a 24-year-old. You don't want to take hope away from a 38-year-old. You don't want to take hope away from a 62-year-old. I'm 62. You don't want to take hope away from anyone. And that's important. And we look at this whole war on education as a means of stripping you down, breaking you, and whipping you into shape so that you will be what one specific group in the United States wants you to be, regardless of what you want to be, what your parents want you to be, what your friends, family, your neighbors, it's a small little group, a niche in here in the United States that wants to tell everybody what to think and do. Which is the big difference between the Peace Party and what the right wing did, is that, it was written down, but they certainly didn't debate it. There was no open conversation as to how the wording should be and how we finalized it and then what we're going to bring to the people. It was just shoved down your throat. So we, at the Peace Party, believe in democracy, and no, democracy's messy. And so we're going to be meeting in September to talk about these things and to finalize the idea of what does it mean to address the issue of education, and do we need a constitutional amendment? You would think in the United States of America that no, we wouldn't need a constitutional amendment guaranteeing the right to an education. But then again, no one thought 250 years ago, or even 150 years ago, or even 50 years ago, that we would be in the predicament that we're in with a war on education, and the idea that students are treated as irrelevant and superfluous. We are just so flabbergasted by that, and we want to see change, but it's like, okay, what does that mean? What does it look like? And how is it going to affect the students, the most important people in this conversation? How is it going to affect the educators who are integral to all of this being accomplished? Because if we don't have educators on our side, if we're not listening to educators and what they need and what they see as a way to reach students, teach students, and make life better for students and then society, if we don't work with the educators also, we're missing the point. We're missing the boat. And so it's going to be a group effort. It's going to be, it's going to be a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top, but a lot more in the middle, where we're going to meet in the middle and come up with ideas collectively to decide how we want to make things work. But it is amazing that it's gotten to the point where certain factions here in the United States of America have made it clear that education is not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee for anyone anymore, and so therefore we need to take a bit more control of things. And that might just mean we might just need to create a constitutional amendment guaranteeing everyone in the United States of America the right to an education. Like I said, did not think that this would ever be an issue 50 years ago. But in today's day, let's face it, if it's not in writing and it's not down where it's very, 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 very specific, we are seeing people who have an evil agenda will come in and strip things simply because they can. It's not something that the Peace Party appreciates. It's not something the Peace Party condones. And it's something that the Peace Party is looking at and saying, okay, these are the issues. Now we must fix them. We must solve them. We're not just going to go out and protest. Especially if you don't have something in writing. What are we protesting? I've never quite understood the idea of just going out and protesting without really a plan. I've been to a number of protests throughout my life, and to be honest with you, very few ever made a bit of a difference. Going back to my very, very first protest, which was going to Dixon, Illinois, in February of 1982, when then President Reagan went to his hometown of Dixon, Illinois to celebrate his birthday. Now, Dixon, Illinois is just down the road from DeKalb, Illinois, so it was really easy for us to get to. And he was very much involved with nuclear arms proliferation. And being a 19-year-old, this was not something I agreed with at all. And so a group of us went to Dixon, Illinois to protest. Did we make a difference that day? No. But we got him to acknowledge us, which was something. And it, certainly from my perspective, gave me an idea of what it is to protest and what it is to protest in accomplish something. That summer I went to New York City for the March on the United Nations, specifically about nuclear arm proliferation. And again, it was about 800,000 people. It was a huge event. But when we went home, we all felt really, really good. But deep down, did we accomplish anything? So that's why in the 21st century, we look at things a little bit differently at the Peace Party. We want proposals and things to work toward versus protesting what's going on right now, leaving it up to everybody else to solve the problem for us. We see that that doesn't work very well. And so we look at education as one of the tools to get to that spot where we can suddenly make a difference, but to make a tangible difference, a real difference, a difference that will last for decades, even hundreds of years. But the only way that happens is if it's in writing. It must be in writing. And so that's what the Peace Party is about, is proposals that are in writing. With that being said, we also know that it's not easy and it's going to take time. We are here for you. We are here with you. And what we always like to do is when we wrap these things up, each segment, we always like to ask our one question. And, you know, Monday is always going to be about education, but housing and your housing status is very important to a person's education and their success. There are way too many homeless students today who are doing the best they can with the resources that they have or don't have. And we here at the Peace Party cannot say enough good things. We cannot be more... I never like the word proud, because that means I know you personally. And that just seems so ridiculous. But to say that we're happy for you too, that you're able to succeed, doesn't sound right either, because you're homeless. But let's just put it this way. We have a great deal of respect for you and what you're going through and how you're making it happen for yourself. And you're doing the best you can with the situation and the cards that you've been dealt. We here at the Peace Party can only say we want to do as much for you down the road as we possibly can and support you every inch and every step of the way. So that's why we always ask this question at the end of every segment. What is a reasonable profit for a landlord to make on a rental unit that costs a total of $1,000 a month to operate? We're looking for that magic number. What percentage? What's a reasonable profit? Because rent is too high, no matter where you are in the United States of America. And the Peace Party wants to be part of that solution. The way that we're going to get to that solution is by answering this, or asking this one question and pushing for an answer. So what's the answer? Let us know. And until then, take care.